All right, you guys ready for a Who the Fuck Said That?
Bring it.
Some are old, some are new, but they've changed. I think the darkness changed them. Who the f*** said that?
Darkness, huh?
Dinklebot.
That's actually
I was thinking more like Cora Ray.
that's actually a really good guess. Completely wrong, but a really good guess. That's good thoughts behind it. Anyway, stay tuned for the end of the show, and we'll find out who the f*** said that. All right, guys, on to the show. This is episode 230, and today is Thursday, the 20th of September 2018. Welcome to the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast. I'm your host, Snoogs, and with me as always are my wonderful co-hosts, Remutha and Grejio. How are you guys?
We're good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
She speaks for both of us.
We're all good. Everybody's good. All right, well, before we get right into it, here is this week's show in preview. We've got video game discussion, then followed by What Would You Rather, What's That Sound, and Last Words. Now, to start it off a bit early, we're doing things a little bit different this time around because we've got a little game to talk about. So, over to video game discussion. Alright guys, I filled you in before the show. I've got a little game that we're talking about. This is being recorded before we can release too much info about it. At this stage I can't give reviews and my thoughts on where it sits in sort of like that scoring scale. But I've started playing Forza Horizon 4.
Right. Firstly, I just want to say, you're a dick.
I was waiting for that. Yep.
Yeah. So you know you deserve it, right?
I'm 100% deserve it. You can come around tomorrow night if you want.
What can you tell us about Forza?
What can I can't tell you a whole lot. I can tell you that it looks fantastic. It runs fantastic. You guys both played the beta. Oh, the demo.
The demo
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
So hungry for Forza.
Well, I can tell you they've got the features with the weather and the season changes. That's not what I was expecting. There's been some tweaks with that. So pretty much the weather doesn't change on the fly. It actually changes at a certain time each week.
Yeah, it's going to be like a weekly reset.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Think of it like other games like Destiny and Ghost Recon. Anything where you've got like a weekly thing and you'll get a reset at a specific time during the week. And I assume that with that will come the weekly and public challenges. They'll rotate as well.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll filter through as the season changes. To be honest with you, I didn't play the demo when it was on. I just didn't have the time to play it, and so I was kind of expecting, you'd be driving down the highway and the season would change on you. So it was quite refreshing because I was concerned about that side of it. So to actually know that, at a certain time each week you can jump on and it's like, oh, okay, well, it's not going to be summer anymore. It's going to be autumn. And then the next week, that you'll be jumping on and it'll be changing over to winter. It kind of feels really well done, and so far I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think when you start off, you don't go straight into the open world. You've actually got to qualify for the Horizon Championship, which is really cool.
So that's actually similar to all the other ones.
Is it?
It's kind of, it's just a way, let's put it this way, it's essentially a tutorial for the game.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
So, and they've done that since the first one. There's like a mad race, and you've got to get there to get either your wristband or your position. They'll be last. Then it comes down to, it doesn't matter how many cars you overtake. There's always just that the next person over the line is going to get the next last spot, and then bam, you get it. Like, I mean, they've done the same thing just about in every game. So, yeah. Those that have played it before, that's not going to come as a surprise. But yeah, for those that haven't played it,
it's different
to that now. It's different to that.
It's different to that. It's you know how you build up your reputation and whatnot as you're going around doing events and everything. You actually have to build up a certain level of reputation before you get into you get invited into the Horizon thing.
Right. Okay.
So you've actually got to go around the world, do a few different things and whatnot, and you get a couple of cars to start off with. And there's an almighty Cosworth, which is absolutely awesome.
This is where I assume it's just going to be like the demo. The demo, to me, feels like it's just the beginning of the game.
Probably, yeah.
So first you get the pick between the Charger, the Audi, and the Focus. Yep. And then you'll do some driving, and then they'll do the dirt racing. So you choose between the Cozzy, the Subaru, and the Lancia. And then there's another. Then you do like a couple of stunts and stuff like that. You get to drive the Chiron, and then you get to choose another car, don't you? Or do they just give you a bunch of cars after that?
No, you got to choose another one.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Which is it doesn't matter. Well, for those that are going to play it, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's the first couple of minutes of the game, so you'll quickly catch up to that anyway. Not exactly spoilers.
Exactly. One thing too is I'm really enjoying the British feel, the British countryside sort of feel to it as well. There's the big sort of wide open areas that was in 3 that was based in Australia. It was very Australian the way it was done, and I just said that really Australian as well.
It's hard not to.
Didn't I come out with a real draw?
But it feels the characters in that damn game.
Yeah.
Everyone spoke like a real ocker.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I found just belting through these rolling green hills and little streams and all that. It felt very British.
Yep.
I'm so psyched to get into Scotland and sort of relive a bit of our own travels over that way. Bring on Edinburgh.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't really know how much I'm allowed to talk about. Everything kind of feels familiar. Probably best. You got any questions?
So, I don't specifically, because, like I said, I played the demo, and the demo really does give you a good sense of what the game's going to be. So I'm really confused about why this has been embargoed. Like, obviously, maybe to stop you from.
I'm a lot further
talking
than the
about
demo would be.
Races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've got about 4.5, 5 hours into it.
Yeah, look, I've got quite a few people that I watch within the community of Forza and Forza Horizon. Obviously, because I like the game a lot, and there's a lot of those guys that have had pre-release versions of the game for quite some time now, and they're already talking about stuff it's in the game and hinting and teasing at it, and so I'm going to assume that you've probably got the similar copy. So it's more about specific races and just those kinds of surprises they don't want you to talk about. But yeah, agreed. It's a Forza. If you played the last one, it's going to feel very familiar. I did play with my friends over the week. Like, there's no multiplayer in the demo, but we all played at the same time, just to feel good about playing again together. And one of the things that they noticed, because they tend to notice how the game feels more than I do. I just adapt to it and I just play it, and deal with it kind of thing, and I don't tend to think about it too much. And maybe that's because I got a lot of things, like a lot of assist turn off and stuff like that, so I don't tend to feel these kinds of things. But they said that it feels similar, it does feel a lot more responsive than the last one. Feels a bit more sharper. I can appreciate that they've probably done that because the roads in this are going to be a little bit tighter and a bit narrower.
Very much so.
Yeah, they are.
And you've got the old stone walls that are destructible, but you've still got them. You know, you're barreling along this little tiny one-lane country road in a Charger.
Yeah.
With walls, you know, old school stone hedges rolling past.
Yep.
It's just.
And while they're destructible, they slow you down.
They do slow you down, yeah.
You do try and avoid them because.
Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to seeing two cars trying to pass each other in opposite directions on a tiny lane. Because that happens.
Yeah, look, if it's like real life, one person pulls over, the other person through.
And you got to back like all the way.
Never going to happen.
Well, my Charger now has half the engine sticking out of the bonnet, so everyone gets out of my way. And if they don't, I make sure they do.
Yeah. So, have you? I don't know what you've played of it now, but I assume you've done a bit more sort of the off-road vehicles, more so in your version.
One thing I have run into when I think in 3 they had the blueprint system when you went to a race.
Yep.
So if you rocked up to a race in a road car, but the race was a dirt track, you could swap it once you got into the race.
Yep.
In this one you can't. So there's a couple of ones that I've started to get to which does have the blueprint feature, but you've got to pretty much swap it before you start the race. You can swap it on the fly wherever it just flips over. You say send my other car here, and it does that.
Yep.
And that side of it works fine, but once you're in, because there was a few times where I just wasn't thinking about it and just clicking through because I was just having fun, and a whole lot of old school American muscle cars going around a tight rally track in the wet. It's funny. It's not real quick, but it was fun.
Yep.
The wipers going 100 miles an hour.
Yep. So the thing I was going to bring up, have you noticed that they've now put in like in the last one they did put an emphasis on like wide body kits for some cars and stuff like that. Well, I know that they've now, for some of the four-wheel drives, they've put in like four-wheel drive lift kit sort of scenarios now. There's like an off-road kit for some of the four-wheel drives, in the same vein as some of the wide bodies, and I know the wide bodies have been stretched out to more cars in this game. In the demo, the Focus RS has a wide body kit for it, which is ridiculous.
I've also got a Golf R.
They've got the Golf R in there finally.
They've got the Golf R. It's still manual though. It hasn't got the DSG grunt through it, but it does have a pretty sick looking wide body kit, and you can put a ridiculous wing on the back. So it's got me. It's got me one just with that.
Shopping trolley, here we go.
Yeah, massive shopping trolley wing is brilliant.
Nice.
Those that only play the Horizons and not the Motors as well. Boards. I know what you may not know is that Motorsport brought out a new type of suspension for the cars as well. So there's now 4 different types. So before there was like the standard sports and race, and then they put in like a rally off-road suspension in the last game.
And they've now got drift as well.
Well, with Motorsport, they brought out a drift one, and they've just moved that across to Horizon 4 as well.
I haven't built myself a drift car yet. That will be coming, and it will be a Skyline.
I built one out of my Ford Focus RS.
Nice.
Yeah. So while I'm saying about it, I had a wide body kit on it. I engine swapped it and put the LS3 in it.
Of course, yeah.
And twin turboed it and put drift suspension on it.
And still had the standard bonnet, didn't you?
Yeah, still had
Physics, we don't need you today.
No. So, like, you can't see it, but the driver's sitting in the backseat. So, look, it's funny. So,
all right. Well, unless you guys have any other questions, I'll leave that there. I'm allowed to start streaming it from 11 o'clock Friday night. So you would have seen it if you've followed me over on Twitch. I would have streamed it, a couple of days ago, and I'd probably be streaming most nights because I usually hit the racing games pretty hard for a while I've got them.
So,
yeah.
While we're still on the subject, there's a few other things that I'd like to touch on.
Go for it.
Just that are new with this particular game. So
yeah, so you've got all this from the demo, yeah?
From the demo, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, and it's stuff that they've talked about openly anyway. It's just that I've now had a chance to try some of these things out and see how they work in the real world. So they talked about, so you mentioned influence. This is going to be your new experience points, essentially, how you move up through the ranks. And they've told everyone that you'll get influence through doing more than just racing this time. So they alluded to the fact that those that want to race, you can race, you'll get influence from that. Those that are content creators, like livery creators like myself, or tuners, people that create tunes for cars, you'll get influence from doing those things within the game. The other things they said, streaming the game on Mixer will give you bonus influence. And then they also said watching the other people play the game. So you don't even have to play the game. You can watch other people play the game and earn influence while watching it on Mixer. There's
apparently something else you can earn while doing it on Mixer as well. So while you're watching, you can apparently you can actually trade what you earn for in-game items.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen that yet because I've done a fair bit of watching on Mixer just to see how this works.
Cool.
So, what happens is you'll start watching, and they've been pretty savvy about how this works, and I like how they've done it. You can't just sort of turn on Mixer and walk away and just earn influence. That's not how this is going to work. So those that are now cursing, sorry, it's not going to be that simple. What you have to do is you sit, you watch, and then every now and then, I think it's about every 5 minutes or so, a little prompt comes up just above the chat, and you scroll up to it, and you click on it, and it gives you, it brings up a message saying next time you play the game, you'll be gifted X amount of influence. So the first time it happens, it's about 500 influence, which, to be fair, that's not going to get you very far past the first 5 minutes of the game. But it is, the next jump is quite exponential. The next jump I saw was 5.5 grand. Then I got 2 lots of 6.5 grand. And then after that, it went up 500 every time, to the point where I was earning about 10k. Right.
Okay, nice.
So at that point in time, I finished watching, and like I said, it's about 5 minutes. So there's probably about 45 minutes of watching there. I was doing it because I was waiting for the demo to download. Anyway, then the following day, I logged on just to see how it works the second time you watch it, whether it, I was expecting that, you jump on and it starts again. To my surprise, it doesn't. it continues on. So I watched for 5 minutes, and then the next thing I knew, I had 10,500. Then another 5 minutes, 11k, and it's just continued on. So I can see how watching, even if you just spend 5 minutes, anytime you turn your Xbox on, just before you go to play the game, jump on, watch Mixer for 5 minutes, earn another bonus before you play.
Yeah.
And it will help supplement kind of what you're doing in the game. I did a little bit of math while I was watching it, because I was watching a guy play. Now, he was average, to say the least. Clearly, racing games were not his thing, or if they are, he's just not very good at them.
Yeah, okay.
So I worked out, based off what he was doing. So every race that he was playing, he had to restart once every time he played. So he screwed it up and had to restart the race once, which means it kind of takes him longer to do the race. On top of that, he had, with all his assists and whatnot switched on, he had about a 30% bonus. Within the 45 minutes of me watching, because of the way he was playing and the bonuses he had, I was actually earning influence faster than he was, just by sitting there watching. And I wasn't even playing it. I don't even actually have a game yet that I can apply it to, but when I log on early access day one, I will have about 70,000 influence sitting there waiting for me just to go. I'll probably level up the first couple of levels within seconds of being there. So, yeah, look, it's interesting. It's well worth trying it. Look, I haven't seen anything in the way of trading items yet, but maybe that's to come.
I could very well have read that wrong, but yeah, I'll look into that more, and I'll let everyone know once I put some details up. There is a review coming up. It'll be released, I think, Monday night. We're allowed to let it live. Funnily enough, I've already got 4 hours worth of footage, and I'm already halfway through it. So yeah, it's a bit of fun.
Well, early access starts in Australia on the 29th.
Yep.
So that's, well, we're recording on the 20th, so that's 9 days away. By the time you guys hear this, it'll be what? Only 5
days away.
5 days. Yeah. 5 days away.
So end of the week. Yep.
There's a good chance. Yeah, so it'll probably be dropping this time next week.
Yeah.
Essentially, so there's a good chance I might have got started playing it by the time we record next week's episode. If not, stay tuned. I'll have a full rundown the following week.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll leave that one there, and give us a minute. We'll jump on over into the live chat and go on with the rest of the show. All right, we've had our very, very secretive first little session of the podcast. Quick shout out to the guys listening live. G'day, Screw. Thanks for dropping in, mate. Hope you're having fun.
Patient.
Thanks for being patient. Yeah. One thing that we didn't talk about last week, only because I actually didn't realise it was on. On Thursday last week, we had the Are You OK Day. Now, the reason I bring it up is I found some information and heard about a person who's actually doing a lot of things in regards to gaming and gamers who both play and create games and their mental health. So this is Dr. Jennifer Hazel. Now I've touched base with her to see if I can get any definitive information about who she is, what she does, all that sort of stuff. She's Australian. You can check over on Twitter at checkpointorg.com. She's doing one of her sort of things is great games played slow. So playing games at a pace that's not stressful, that's just there to be enjoyed. And her tagline is helping game players and makers with mental health. So I just wanted to throw it out there and let everyone know that your online friends are just as much a friend as friends in real life or in face to face. Obviously, the three of us here, and Lucas included, are very lucky in that we've known each other for so long. I think, Grejio, you and I are pushing on, 20 odd years? 20 years?
Close to, yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually known Lucas for, nearly 25. In some point of another, I met him as a snot-nosed 14-year-old.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to put it out there. Just put it out there for everyone. Your friends are your friends, no matter whether they're just online or face to face. Make sure you look out for each other.
Definitely. I second that hugely. Yeah. I mean, it was only the other day that I spoke to one of my gaming buddies, and literally I only know him in the gaming world. He lives on the other side of the world.
Yep.
But we had discussion about some stuff that was going on in his life, and it was getting hectic for him. He's having some big upheavals in his life, work, relationship. And it was just a case of, he took the time out to want to talk to me because he knew that I would listen and just give him honest feedback about where he was at, and So it's true. Your friends are your friends, no matter where or how you know them. And it's good. You need everyone needs to talk to someone sometime.
Exactly.
So if you need to, do it.
And Checkpoint is something that I've looked at before as well. They have a lot of really great resources touching on for gamers, so it's worth a check if you haven't looked at it already.
Beautiful. Thank you muchly. I haven't actually looked into it a lot. I heard about Jennifer listening to a podcast the other day and looked into it. I've touched base with her, but she's a doctor, so she's obviously very busy. I haven't heard anything back as yet, but when I do, I'll be sure to pass it on. Alright, have you guys got anything else you want to chat about? Any new and exciting games?
I have some Fallout 76 news.
Is it good news?
Yeah, I think it is.
Alright, you can tell it.
Yeah. Don't want your negativity.
No. I'm reporting something that I think is actually is good. Bethesda, I think so it's around the rules to do with PvP within the game. I think I watched a video on it and got the lowdown on it, and I'm really happy to say they've done some very intelligent and smart things around this. Because one of the things that we talked about when we first started talking about a multiplayer version of Fallout, especially where there was no NPCs, it was all just human characters, was the level of trolling and, the fresh trolled wounds of us from Sea of Thieves were running part of that conversation.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
So they've talked about how players killing players is going to work in the game. So,
but actually, you know what? Before you get into that,
yeah,
I've got to bring up something that I put on the page earlier this week.
Yeah.
I heard a new name for the teabag.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of calling it a teabagging, it's a mushroom stomp.
Okay.
Now, I'll leave that image. I'll leave it up to you guys to take that imagery of how you would get a mushroom stomp. But yeah,
it's pretty violent. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Teabagging's a bit softer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When I heard it, I'm just trying to think for a little bit, and then they actually explained it, and it's like, ow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of painful for both people. Yeah.
Sorry, on to Fallout 76. What was that again?
So anyway, the scenario is, right, let's say you and I are playing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going about your business. You just want to play by yourself. You're not interested in shoot plays. You just want to let bygones be bygones, right? I come along and I'm like, I'm a rootin' tootin' crazy outlaw. I want to kill every last player I see. I'll walk up.
The troll? No.
Look, I'm putting myself in that position, so...
Yep, okay.
You're right. I'm normally the person who just goes, fuck off and leave me alone.
Yep.
But anyway.
I'm usually the troll, yeah.
Anyway, so, you're minding your business, I walk up and I shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the game analyzes what happens next. If you choose to shoot back at them, it becomes a PvP moment. And whoever wins will end up with loot. Okay? So they'll come along and they'll shoot you, you shoot back, you fight it out. Whoever dies, they then lose some of their caps and their materials. It's I think a predetermined amount from what I can tell.
That sounds pretty fair, yeah.
It's not everything. They just don't clean you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, if you choose and go, no, I don't want to be part of this, and don't fire, the game then proceeds to watch to see what happens next. Now, if that person essentially shoots you and then realizes, you don't want to play, and walks away, no harm, no foul, you both go on about your way. If this person murders you, no loot will be dropped to them. They will not be able to get any loot off you. There is no advantage to them killing you. They won't get anything for it except for the pleasure of killing you. This is where it gets smart, and this is because that could still leave trolls out to kill people just for the sake of it. This is where Bethesda has thought about this. Once you kill someone and it's deemed a murder, you get flashed up on the map for everyone to see and go, look, here's a murderer, right? On top of that, there's now a bounty on your head, which, when you die, that bounty comes out of your caps. It's not just an arbitrary amount of money that the game hands out. You have to fund the bounty that's on your head.
That's actually really smart. Yeah,
that's what I thought. So they have really thought hard, because I'm guessing that this has been a question everyone's talked about. This is a game that has been a solo game for so long that there are going to be a lot of people who want to play this, and they're itching to play another Fallout game, but just are anxious about the fact that they're going to get trolled. And I think they've thought about this. Look, it's not going to stop everyone. There's still going to be those dickheads that have more money than God, and then just go, I'm going on a killing spree. You know, you can't stop those people. But this stops the everyday dickheads that just do it for the fun of it.
Those people that go on a killing spree, does their bounty go up?
I believe, every time you murder someone, be a new bounty being added to it. So, yes.
Okay, yeah, so you could effectively have... So, I'm just looking at, past experiences and past online games where stuff like this has happened, where you've got particular player or players that are ridiculously OP. You know, they've spent a lot of time early on and got a lot further in front of everyone.
Yep.
And they are, like you said, they're those ones that have more money than God and are just out to be a troll. Or they're out to do what they consider fun for themselves.
Yep.
So it ends up being, 1, 2, 3 people within a map, within a server, that are hunted by the entire server. That actually sounds like it's a really good turn on it, and I think it would just be... It'd be fun, and it'd be great to see how the online society, if you will, would actually react to that. So, all these people are, like you said, just going about their time, wanting to play Fallout, playing it with friends, doing whatever, and then they find out that they're in a server with this person that's OP, aggressive, but has a massive bounty on their head. Then, are they going to go one out? Are they going to team up? Are they going to work together? You know, it's actually opens up a lot of questions in my own head about how they'll go and what they will do, which I think is awesome.
Yep.
It makes it sound like we're in a vault right now. We're some sort of experiment.
It kind of does.
Social experiment to see how you do.
It brings you back to a few years ago when that bit of coding went wrong on World of Warcraft. So what happened was that there was people could get infected by a certain disease in a certain raid, and the coding was glitched, so that when they actually left that raid, their pets or their sidekicks or whatever would actually carry that disease with them, and then that disease got out into the general population. It was one where the disease was that bad that low-level characters would be wiped out within minutes, and it just went through the complete online community. And there were people, like governments got involved in it to see how people would react.
Wow.
And, because there was people that would go into the cities of the game that were healers and would be offering their services as a healer to try and get people, give people extra life so that they could get through the virus and heal themselves and do what needed to be done to fix it. Then you had the others that would send their mounts, their pets, whatever, into these infected areas, infect the pet, because it wouldn't actually affect them, and then send that infected pet into an area that had people. And it was absolutely amazing. There's videos on YouTube about how it was done and who actually watched in on it. It was absolutely amazing. For something that was a glitch, it come out and turned out really well. And I actually see something like that with Fallout 76 being, a virtual social experiment sort of thing, which I think could be cool.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool only because it's in taste with Fallout.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of a bit freaky if you think about it. And
so, yeah, look, those that were concerned about the PvP aspect, I think you have a good reason to sort of be calmed about that now, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it definitely levels the playing field and tackles a lot of early issues, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in beta.
There's also some other rules, like you actually can't get into a PvP match until after you've actually leveled up a certain amount, just to try and keep that playing field even. Stuff like that.
Stop people getting spawn killed, so to speak.
Yeah, and also to kind of stop, the senseless murdering of, I think it's a lot to do with just getting used to the game. So if you accidentally do shoot someone back, just because you're still getting used to how the game works, it just stops, at a higher level, just coming and murdering.
Yeah, well, that's
ganking the lesser level people.
It's pretty common though, isn't it? Like even
I wonder how
Destiny
it would
does
work
that.
if you retaliated and won. Like say someone comes up and they shoot at you. You're high powered. You've got a high powered rifle. You shoot back at them, knock a ton of health off them, and then they've decided, oh, hold on, this isn't a good idea. And you both go your separate ways.
Oh, look, you still have that ability.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. The only scenario that sort of comes about of that is if you either kill someone and get the reward, or you just walk away and go, all right, no, I'm sorry, that's my bad. Though generally speaking, if you're in that situation, there's not too many people that are gonna not kill you for annoying their day.
True.
So, who knows? There might be some nice people. I know. Actually, that's not true. I know I would. If I was in that situation, someone just came along and shot me, and I sort of went, yeah, I look like you. I can take you. And just put a bullet in them, and then they went, oh, nope, sorry. I'd be like, yeah, all right, fuck off.
Yeah, damn straight you are. Just looking in the chat, and I thought I'd bring up this nice bit of highbrow humour. Squirrel, why? Trump's dick reportedly looks like Toad from Mario Kart. Why? How is that even a thing?
I know. Why are we interested in this at all?
I don't know. I don't need to.
Yeah.
His neck looks like a Thanksgiving dinner? What? Oh, it's gaming news.
Oh, because of Toad.
Because of Toad, yes. I like how they've used like the most innocent possible picture of Toad as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So you can then look and go, yeah, he does look like a penis with an oversized head. My childhood memories are now shattered.
Oh, I made Toad dirty. Damn it.
He was innocent. He's seen some shit. Ew.
Yes, now.
Yes, now.
You've seen Stormy Daniels.
Did either of you guys play the Black Ops 4 beta over the weekend?
No, I missed it.
No.
I was too busy playing Forza Horizon, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't play Forza Horizon. I was too busy playing Blackout.
That's good. It means that I got the report on Forza, you get the report on Blackout.
Exactly.
Until you told me that you had a friggin' pre... Okay. Not you.
Skrill's put in the chat PUBG 2.0. No. Let's start off with some good things from it. It was running absolutely excellent for a beta. It looked fantastic. It sounds fantastic. It's got, the standard parachute in, loot, find, run to the circle. Some very cool things that I'm told are a part of it, as in certain areas from the actual Black Ops or Call of Duty game are actually used on the map, so they're kind of like the map itself is all sort of Frankenstein together, if that makes any sense. There's parts of areas that you're playing zombies, a few other bits. I don't play a lot of COD, so I didn't know. People in the stream were telling me about it. And that's probably where the good side of it ends. The bad side, a lot of people were saying, it's just another battle royale. It's just another Fortnite, another PUBG. It's not really any of them. It's it doesn't even really feel like a battle royale. It kind of just feels like a longer version of multiplayer on a bigger map. It's still very fast-paced. It's still a lot of jumping around. There's not a lot of tactics about it. Again, it was only a beta, but it just, I don't know. It was missing that PUBG or that Fortnite sort of feel that I get. But in saying that, it was still fun. Does that make sense?
Cool.
Yeah. And I got lots of kills, so that was good.
That's the most crucial part.
That was the most crucial part. And I think it had like you could hear the voice chat of the people around you. So I was only playing solos. And quite often I'd hear a weird noise, like someone screaming off in the distance.
So it's like proximity chat sort of thing.
Yeah, like a proximity chat.
Okay, cool.
So you'd hear some people yelling or swearing at you, and especially because there was a few times where I tried to play it like I'd have played PUBG or I had played Fortnite, where being very, being tactical about it all, and well, I'm in a war zone, so I'm not going to run across a field. I'm going to be in the house. I'm going to stick close to cover. I'm going to, go from cover to cover, and actually look after myself. And so there was a few times where there'd be 4 or 5 people out in the middle of a field shooting at each other and jumping around like an idiot. And here I am, tucked in a like a service station or something, and I'm tucked into a corner with just the muzzle of the gun up over the lip of the window and just dropping them. So that was fun. But you'd hear, a lot of swearing, like, where did that come from? And me yelling, haha, stole your kill, and having a chuckle. So,
a 10-year-old talking about raping your mother in the distance.
Yeah, there's probably some of that.
Yep.
That is a downside. You have to listen to them. You can't mute them.
Although a few games there, I actually kind of forgot where I was and how old I was, and was getting right into it. So I was rather enjoying myself.
You made a 10-year-old cry, didn't you?
Oh, possibly. I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention. Yeah, the COD effect. That's right, Skrill. So what about yourself, Rem? What else have you been playing around this week?
I haven't had a great deal, unfortunately, this week, but I did get a little short chance to check out Spider-Man.
Nice.
Yes. Now, I haven't got far, so I can't say too much about it, I guess. But it's fun. Mm-hmm. It's definitely fun. It's pretty natural, really, when you're playing it. It feels natural. If you've played the Batman Arkham games, your combat feels familiar. And like web slinging through the city. It took me a few minutes to get it, and my 4-year-old picks up the controller and has a turn, and he's a natural off the fucking bat. He's like wall running and swinging across the city. I'm going, dude, what the hell?
Of course he is.
It's wicked. But yeah, it's really good. I've only played a small amount of the story mission, so I'm looking forward to getting into that. But there's some really tough enemies. Like the thugs are pretty hard to take down, and there's a good set of, I guess, rules about how you can combat them. So it breaks up the monotony of fighting over and over. So you're not just like, you can't just button mash your way through conflict. You've actually got to think a little bit more carefully about your dodging and how to take down a heavier enemy. So the thugs, you can't just kick and punch them because they're going to take you down fast. You've got to use environmental, so either you slingshot some web and pull an item toward you, sort of swing it around and hit them with it, or you can fling web into their face until they're bound up and they can't move, and then that allows you to get in close and take them out. So yeah, it's really good. Spider-Man feels as he should. He's agile, he's quick, he's not heavy like Batman. Yeah, really liking it, and hopefully I'll get a chance to put a lot more time into it in the week to come.
Yep.
Before we get more games.
Awesome. Yeah, I still haven't started it yet. I've been going on my Destiny rant and now my Forza run. So it's there to play.
Yeah. So how's Forsaken treating you?
Yeah. Okay. The honeymoon period's over.
How long has that been?
A couple of weeks.
A week.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I do remember saying 2 weeks.
You did say this. First and foremost, okay. So I've finished. I main a Titan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So the Titan's this big squirrel grabs
TFFT.
Yeah, it's he's this big strong character that's very the way that I always felt playing it felt a sense of pride and a sense of wanting to help. You kind of felt like you'd throw your life on the line for just about anything. I've finished Forsaken. First rant is I've gotten to the end of the story part, and then you've got to go and do more grindy stuff to get into the city, which was enough to piss me off and make me swear at the game. Not that it was anything overly difficult; it was just the fact that there was more of it. But the biggest issue that I've got, I no longer have that drive or really that respect for the Vanguard. So, Zavala has turned, for lack of a better word, weak. He feels weak. He feels like he's just defeated, and he just wants to go about doing as doing does. There's no sense of pride. There's no sense of justice. I don't have, and especially the fact that he's the Vanguard for the Titan. I kind of had this sense of, you know, want and pushing forward and leadership. Kind of feel like it was taken away from me. I know this is all just a video game, but it's, you know, the core element of the game and what I was striving for and doing seems to have gone.
See, I find it funny that that's how you feel. Just so you know, I've watched the story.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so I know how the story plays out. That is not how I feel watching the story.
Yeah.
What I get is it's actually true Zavala throughout the rest of the story. He's always been. It's more important. The city is everything. The tower is everything to him, and the Titans have forsaken and sacrificed more than any other of the Vanguard to have that be the case. And so, yeah, without spoiling the story for anyone that hasn't finished it, it's a case of, I think he's just being who he's always been. It's just he sees the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is the tower.
Obviously, you know, he's been deeply, you know, moved, saddened, whatever, with the death of Cade, and it's, you know, it's deeply affected him. But it's just, it kind of feels like, I know that they're trying to portray, you know, that the death has affected both Zavala and Ikora.
Yep.
But it's gotten to a point where you can tell the tension, you can tell the split between the two remaining Vanguard. Cade was the sort of comical relief, but he was the balance that sort of held them together. So now that the balance is gone, it's like an instant break. You know, that the other two are now officially broken, and it just, I don't know. I think it's because, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I kind of feel like I'm chasing the dragon, but it's, you know, I've gotten right into the Destiny 2 story, and I've started reading a lot of the lore that's come up and that you collect around the map and whatnot, and it's all fantastic, and the story all ties in together really well. But yeah, it just, the way that both Ikora and Zavala are now talking and acting and whatnot, it kind of frustrates me. I think it's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's fair. I can appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I just see it a little differently. That's all.
Well, you see a lot more of the world than I do, because you've been playing it for so long and so much.
Yeah. Like I said, while it's I get the disheartening effect of how you would feel about Zavala's decision. It didn't come as a surprise to me when he made that decision. Let's put it that way.
And being that you've watched it, and I'll try and be as vague as possible, but hopefully still give you an understanding of what I'm talking about. If not, we'll talk about it off air. But when it ended, and you were standing there with the pirate chick, one with the one eye.
Petra.
Petra.
That's the one. And then the screen goes black.
Yep.
No, I wanted the satisfaction to know what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I didn't get it. We can assume just about anything, but I wanted the satisfaction of visualizing it.
Yeah.
Look, let's put it this way. I'm not sure you have to assume. The conversation afterwards with Zavala about what happens, I think, clarifies what actually happened. If not, Bungie are being very deliberately deceitful and deliberately trying to deceive you in what they want you to think.
Yes.
So I think we can say without too much doubt we know what happened. Yes, if you want to see the outcome unfold, then yeah, I can appreciate why.
Yeah, well,
that ending wouldn't be satisfactory.
Well, that was the thing. I just like when the screen went blank, I yelled at it. It's like, no, you made me watch Cade die.
Yep.
No.
That's fair. But to be fair, he went out like a badass.
Oh, he did.
As he did. Always. Sense of humour, as always.
He should have. That's exactly how he should have gone.
As much as I could... I'm not going to, because I've done it enough now. The bag Bungie and Destiny and everything like that. I cannot fault them for that, the beginning of that story, and how Cade was amazing.
Yeah.
And now I get to go and watch it twice more.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure I could do that again. Gone are those days.
Yeah,
I'm just doing it over and over again.
Yeah, I've hit the soft cap. I'm at about 508 light level now, and it has all but halted.
Yep.
Because when I'm on, other people aren't on, or I haven't been able to get in a fire team with mates, or I haven't even attempted the Nightfall. I've haven't attempted the raid. I've done strikes, dailies, a lot of Crucible, as I do all the time, because I quite enjoy it. But yeah, there's only so much powerful gear. Like, you only need five rounds of Crucible for the week to get your powerful, your legendary gear.
Yep.
So after that, it just dries up, and you start seeing blues drop at light level 370. It's a waste of time, really. You just shard them, and away you go. Yeah, but other than that, it's still there. I still jump in and have a bit of fun.
That's good.
Got to do it.
So, let's just double back a bit. I did have a little bit more of Forza Horizon 4 news. It's a little bit separated from the game. It's more in and around the game as opposed to about the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, inside Xbox, for those that don't know, they do videos and releases and stuff like that of stuff that's going on Xbox. It's pretty much Microsoft's own PR department, if you will, for Xbox. They are doing a live event to celebrate the coming release of Forza Horizon 4. It will be... It's this Wednesday. When I say Wednesday...
Wednesday, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Thursday 6 a.m. for us, because it's when...
No, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday 6 a.m. for us. You're talking about Major Nelson?
The one in Goodwood. I read it as 1 p.m. Pacific time Wednesday, which would...
Wednesday, September 26th at 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
That was. Look, I got 1 p.m. Pacific time off their Twitter feed.
Okay, cool.
Off Inside Xbox Twitter feed. So
yeah, I got some details from Xbox today, which is going up on the Aussie Gamers Express website tonight.
Look,
but let us
by
know.
the time you guys are to it, we'll have sorted this out. with time for you to still catch it, if you're interested. Anyway, for those that don't know, Goodwood is a place in England where there's a annual car festival held, and it's one of the bigger car festivals in the world. It's called the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and they cover just about everything in motoring. It's not a specific genre of car meet or bike meet. It's if it's got wheels and engines and it drives under any form of power, electrical, diesel, petrol, kerosene, you name it, aviation fuel, some of them.
The lunatics ones.
They celebrate it. They celebrate it. If that sounds like something you're interested in, YouTube it. There's plenty of YouTube videos around it. It was only a couple of months ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a really good coverage of it on YouTube. Anyway, getting back to this. Inside Xbox is going to do a live event from Goodwood for celebrating the release of Horizon 4. So, those that are interested, we will sort out what time this is actually, and we'll probably put it in the comments below, so you've got a better idea of what's going on. Seems though me and Snoogs haven't got our shit together between the two of us.
Either way, like I said, the details will be up on the Aussie Gamers Express website, which the link to that will be down below, and inside that there's links to the official websites and Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts that are all going to be broadcasting it, so you can keep up to date with it there as well. I've got a bit of terrible news. And when I say terrible, it is terrible news, but it's kind of funny too. When I say funny, I'll read you the headline for the news. Man, 45, threatened to shoot 11-year-old after losing to him in Fortnite.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just, I read this today, and I couldn't stop laughing at myself to think that this is how society falls down.
It's sad that this is actual reality we're talking about here.
I know. So, no real money for guessing which country this comes from. New
Africa.
York. So in New York, a man has made threats over Messenger directed at the kid, and which makes it, even worse, he's also threatened to attack this kid at school.
Oh, jeez.
So then, of course, the school's gone into lockdown. The cops have got involved. The parents found the messages, got the cops involved, and it's obviously gone the way that it needed to go because it was a serious threat. There is a flip side to this. One that I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I have to again question the parenting of the parents. The kid has been playing with this guy for months. And then whatever's happened is that they've played against each other. The kid's beaten him. He's obviously flipped a switch and gone stupid. And this is what's happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that get raised out of that, and a lot of issues that,
Like, let me clarify this. There's no detail in the news of who this guy is to the kid. Not as you guys do. I've got nieces and nephews that are around, the 10, 12-year-old age. And I've played Fortnite with them. Yes, I was beaten by one of them, a little shit. But that's beside the point. I'm related. I've known them all their life. That's just... I don't see any problem with that. But there's nothing in this news story to say that this guy's related, family, friend, anything. It just says that he's been playing with an 11-year-old, and the parents have been happy to let this go on until he's gone ridiculous and said, I'm going to kill you for beating me. I don't understand it.
I mean, what kind of level of immaturity do you have to have at that age to get so pent up over losing to an 11-year-old that you would threaten them like that?
Oh, there's something not right in them, really. Like we've all had our bursts. I rage with the best of them, but it's the rage always finishes. One, I've never threatened to harm anybody, and two, the rage always ends with a laugh, because it's just that outlet of a scream, a expletive, or whatever, and then it's a laugh at the end, and there's a laugh at the other end as well.
Yeah, it's just disbelief. It's just ridiculous, honestly.
But then, 90% of the time, probably 99% of the time, the people that can actually hear me raging are my own mates anyway, because that's why they're always laughing at me. So, it's just weird, I think, is probably the best way to put it. And the fact that I think there's some more information needs to be put out there for parents to monitor their children's online activity a hell of a lot closer than what's been done in this case.
Yeah, I agree. You really do need to know exactly who your kids are playing with, and it's not safe to not know these things. Just like it's not safe to let your kid play a game without knowing exactly what that game is.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's a PvP game. You're going to play with randos. You're going to play with the people all the time.
Yeah.
So there's no stopping that. So it's
but there's ways of stopping them interacting with it.
Yeah.
Whether you put someone online, you put them in a chat party by themselves, and that's it. You just well, Squirrels put it in the chat perfectly. His nephew plays Fortnite with him. Awesome. That's fantastic, mate. It's actually a lot of fun. I rather enjoy it when I get to do it. He plays a lot of random squads and has a lot of randoms join in, which is, again, that happens. But he's been told not to join chat parties, and he gets monitored who he's on the mic with.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's how I think it should be, personally, as well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I believe this guy contacted the kid through Xbox text and voice messages or something.
Yeah, I think that's how he threatened him, but they've been playing together for God knows how long. Yeah,
and good chance that they've been, chatting through that time. So yeah, they should absolutely have restriction on that.
Yep.
And to be fair, I just don't like playing with squeakers anyway.
Oh yeah, I'll turn them off. Well, something a bit more fun. You guys looking forward to Devil May Cry at all?
No.
Number 5?
I can't say it's got my fancy.
Seriously, every time I watch it, I just go, "Oh, this is total cheese." It's it's horrific. That's my personal opinion. There's going to be people out there that like the idea, so. But for me, it just feels like cheese. Super, super, super cheese.
Yeah, well, I have.
Skrill's excited.
Yeah, look.
Well, good. I'm glad he is. We got a new release trailer today, so I'm on the same page as you, Greg. It seemed very cheesy. I was never a big fan of the Devil May Cry series in itself. It just wasn't my style of game. However, this trailer dropping today, it's focused mainly on Dante and a lot of actual gameplay, which you'll be able to see over on AussieGamesExpress.com. And it's kind of got me wanting to look a bit closer at it.
So, I don't
really
know
cool.
if you... Did you see the trailer at Gamescom?
I saw the trailer at Games.
So this is a different one again. Because that had a lot of gameplay attached to it. The one for Gamescom, not the one at E3, the one at Gamescom.
Well, this one, it says it's just been released today.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's a new one.
So yeah, I'm thinking it might be. Again, because I'm not overly excited, or I wasn't overly excited for it. I wasn't looking for the stuff, so I didn't see the one from Gamescom. No. So yeah, I got this one sent from Capcom today, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it about this trailer that interest?
The effects, actually. The way that he fights. The movement of him. So he was fighting a few different demons. Different things he turned into a demon himself. You had the sword. You had the dude with his arm that turns into things. He was on there as well. And just the movement, the fast pace. There was a lot of that tongue-in-cheek comedy that they're trying to sort of push across.
Yep.
But it kind of all worked in together. It worked really well.
I watched the Gamescom trailer and I saw the gameplay, and to be fair, like the gameplay looks solid. I'll give it that. And I like the original Devil May Cry. The thing that bugs me is what the characters have turned into. And I just can't watch a story with Dante being this arrogant smartass, essentially. It just bugs me. And his sidekick, she's even more annoying.
In the original, he was a bit of a badass, wasn't he? Like, he was a bit moody and...
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
You know, he was cool. He might have been arrogant, but he wasn't pompous dick at the same time. Like, I'm probably being a bit cruel here, but he is hard to take now. I look at it and I just go, I can't take you. You drive me up the wall. And you know, I want to like this game, but I can't. I just can't do it. That's just me. I get that people won't agree with me.
All right. Well, I've got a couple more games. Have you guys got anything else?
I got some news on VR, funnily enough.
VR?
Yep.
Go for it.
So, I saw a video
Leisure Suit
today.
Larry VR?
No, it's not.
No? Oh.
It's not to do with gaming. Funnily enough, it's not directly to do with gaming. It's actually about immunizing kids, funnily enough. So I watched a video today, and what they're doing is they're using a VR headset to distract children when they're being immunized. Now, it's not just, play a video and hope for the best. They've got the kids set up with a VR headset, and the doctors are then watching a screen which is playing a video, the same video that the kids are watching, but it has prompts on the doctor's screen to do certain things with the immunization, so it ties in with what's going on with the game. So the video has this cute little character set up in this magical, fantastic land, and the kids can look around and do whatever. But essentially, this character is talking to them about how there's this evil creature that's wanting to take over the land, and that these guys need to collect ingredients
from Candy Mountain
to defeat.
It's Candy Mountain, Charlie.
To defeat this evil. So the first thing they have to collect is called ice pollen, right? So what happens is this little creature gets this half of this ellipse that's glowing blue, and clicks it into the armor in your shoulder, in the kid's shoulder. At this point in time, the doctor is prompted to use the alcohol wipe to sterilize the patch of skin they're going to immunize on.
Uh-huh.
And so that cold feeling lines up with this ice pollen, right? Then the next ingredient is called fire fruit. And once again, same deal. It's the other half of the ellipse, and it's glowing red. And when it clicks it in, the doctor gets a prompt to give them the immunization. Now, obviously, there's a cold, and then there's they're tricking the kid's brain into thinking that the pain from the needle is actually the heat from this fire fruit. Now, here's where this is the bit that I really like, and this is the kicker. This is what really will just switch a kid's imagination on, and they'll go nuts for. When that's all said and done, the Band-Aid that they put over while they're watching the monster get destroyed because they've found both ingredients and this thing falls over, is the two pieces of the ellipse, the ice pollen and the fire fruit. It's shaped like those two ingredients mixed together, and it sits on their arm. So when they take the headset off, the two pieces that were clicked into their armor are now the band-aid over where they just got immunized. So it's one of those things that then just brings that fantasy into the reality and just distracts them just that little bit longer from what has actually happened to them. So I think it's cool. It's a cool idea.
I needed that a couple months ago.
I was going to say, having kids at the age now where, I mean, I've got 3 kids under the age of 4, and there's a lot of immunizations between 0 and 4. The 4-year-old just got done only a couple of weeks ago. I see the value of this. Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I saw some of that on. It's basically the video sort of creatively telling them about how they're fighting diseases, I guess. Would that be right?
No. Well, not
so
that
the monster is the disease. They're putting armor on.
Yeah, possibly.
Anyway. Yeah. No, it's very interesting. I can definitely see the value in it for a young child whose imagination is running absolutely wild. And really anything that makes that sort of experience more pleasant for them and less scary.
Yeah.
Is a really great idea for them and for parents.
Yeah, it's
plus, we'll keep
it's a
them
fantastic.
VR.
It's a fantastic idea. If they got one for dogs, because my dog was harder to give a needle to than the kids were. The kids, it was over in 30 seconds. The wife was outside crying. That was fine.
Oh. Just need a VR of dogs at the park or something.
Yeah.
Smell-o-vision.
Just a bum.
Just a bum.
Bum.
In
Bum
this
hole.
house, the kids don't need the VR for the needle. The wife does.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I'm terrible with needles.
Yeah,
Big
immunization is a dad's job.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've had to do both mine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well, couple of one last bit of news, and I've got a couple more games I've played as well. Some big, massive news for the Australian esports scene. Australia has qualified for BlizzCon 2018 in the Overwatch World Cup later this year in Bangkok. That's pretty big news.
Also known as the Mushroom Stomp.
So this got me thinking. Australia qualifying for BlizzCon when it's one team from Australia who's representing us. Do you reckon there'd ever be a want or an ability to have a Olympic Games type thing, but be completely esports?
Like international gaming.
Yeah, so not just one competition for WoW or Overwatch, but have a gathering of people together and teams from around the world, fight in their particular games to get points, medals, or whatever, and then an overall team is crowned the champion.
That would be pretty amazing. I'd be up for that.
It's possible.
It'd be a massive undertaking, but
huge.
I think it'd be possible.
Oh, and it could be highly beneficial as well. I mean, if you have people who are already interested in this side of gaming, it opens them up to, as a spectator, even just being able to get exposure to the different types of games and how they would be played competitively. And, for a developer, for a game maker, create a bigger following.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could have, you'd open it up to everyone. So you'd have people from all corners of the globe, each playing their own, specific skill set. So, you could have, 10, 15 different games, and you've got teams from everywhere competing in those 10 games, and that's sort of how you go. It'd be massive. I think you'd sell out whatever venue you held it in. You would sell it out for every day, every session.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So that just popped into my head. This is the sort of shit that jumps around in there when you're wandering around. You get a bit of news through.
A little bit off the cuff there.
Yeah, a little bit of stuff. The other couple of things I've been playing this week. So I've had a bit of time playing some things on the PC. So Wild West Online, still very early access, very alpha. Not a whole lot new happening on that. Halo Wars 2 on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
So much better on the PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much better.
All those types of games.
Yeah. It's an RTS. It was always built for a PC, and then ported across the console. But it's so much more fun on the PC. I'm going to go and play a lot more of it now, I think. And I have a little bit of something cheeky. I've played Forza 7 on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
With my steering wheel that is only compatible for the PS4. So, crossplay.
Okay. Very nice.
That's my level of crossplay for the week.
Well,
and yes, Skrill, I did notice. Good old Fortnite. The Fortnite cube has gone to Loot Lake and changed it.
Yes. I saw that. There's like a massive gathering within Fortnite of people watching that happen, hey?
Yeah. Oh, it's insane. Like the cube itself. Apparently, there was a way you could get into it. I could never figure it out. There's spots where it has jumped around the map, and you go into those spots, and it's got like less gravity and weird shit going on. And it's just, it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
Except when you get
really.
You get into that little section and you get near where the cube was, and some smartass will throw a concussion grenade or something at it, and it shoots you across the map, and then you die because you've just inside this little bubble in the area that's got less gravity and you can jump around. You don't take fall damage, but as soon as you get shot at 1 billion miles an hour outside of that little bubble, you're gone.
Wow. Nice. They seem to be really nailing all these little like sort of social aspects of Fortnite, don't they? All the little mini events and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a great game to just switch your brain off and have a bit of fun.
Oh, no, that's good. Off your Wild West Online, did you guys know that Red Dead also is having an online mode?
Yes.
Yes. So it'll be launching as a beta in November. Mm-hmm. And they've described it, the studio's described it as a mix of RDR and GTA Online.
Okay.
Quote, a narrative with competitive and cooperative gameplay. So this will be really interesting. I'm really interested to see how narrative an online mode will be. Because I haven't played too many narrative online multiplayer games that I can think of anyway.
GTA is actually it's incorporated a lot of narrative into it. So you've got the heists, you've got clubs where you can be like a motorcycle gang, or like a business hangout, sort of like things work like a businessman sort of thing. Okay. And it gives you this little narrative to play along with it. And there's also like you can buy bunkers where you're transporting weapons across the area, and so that there's all these little sort of things working together to make the world a little bit different than just going out and griefing everyone, which is pretty much what everyone does now anyway.
Yeah.
But I still get on it occasionally, and then 5 minutes later I'm being shot 15 times and I turn it off angry.
Yeah. But, so I think probably the only, like, I guess it depends on how you're looking at narrative, I guess. But for me, narrative, I instantly think story. Mm-hmm. But perhaps it's not quite that.
Well, that's the thing. There's the story to go along with it. So, like for instance, the gun runners, the story is that you've found out about this underground bunker, and you move into this underground bunker and you start doing jobs to build it, to build your crew, to effectively get more money to play the game and do other things. And same with the heists. The heists work in as you get a team together and you go and do the first heist, or the first part of the heist, which is just the steps, the setup. Then you do the next thing, which is the actual heist itself, and then you've got to get away. So there's a sort of a narrative that you follow to actually get through it. So it could be along those sorts of lines. Okay. I hope, because it is actually kind of cool when you get a group of friends together and you're playing through those sorts of things. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can see this being great. I mean, the whole game, the story is going to be based around. This is for the main game, not for the online. Is obviously going to be based around the game, and it'd be great to be able to all, mount your horses, ride together, and take down some
awesome
enemies. It'd be great. Anyway, so that's free for those who own RDR2.
Mm-hmm.
And the studio said they're releasing it separately as they see it as fundamentally separate from the main game. So they're sort of seeing it as a very different experience to your storyline campaign. But yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to.
So you can purchase the online only. Or is it
that hasn't been specified. I think it sort of comes with RDR2, as in the main game.
Yep.
But yeah, you'll obviously get to play the beta in November if you already purchase it.
Oh, I get you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. A couple other things. One, I was reading about loot boxes. I mean, there's been constant discussions over the past year, I guess, about the value of loot boxes and whether they should be in games or not.
Mm-hmm.
In the past week, the Australian Senate has actually had an inquiry into microtransactions, and they heard a call for serious considerations to loot box restrictions in gaming. The call was made off the back of the recent studies that found that loot boxes were psychologically akin to gambling, which is something that we've heard a fair bit before, and they should only be available to players of legal gambling age. So they did a whole bunch of studies, I think it was over 7,000 gamers, most of which who were trolls and gave really stupid answers.
Of course they
but
did,
the ones who didn't, they said the results basically suggested that loot boxes act as a gateway problem to gambling amongst gamers, or give developers an unregulated way of exploiting gambling disorder, amongst their customers. The industry view on this was that it typically disassociates loot boxes from gambling, but instead highlights similarities between loot boxes and harmless products like trading cards or Kinder Surprise eggs. When reading this,
have you ever tried to tell a 4-year-old no, they can't have a Kinder Surprise?
Well, that's kind of my point. Kids lack impulse control.
Yeah.
So, you can't trust that any kid who has a game with microtransactions and access to a credit card isn't going to spend money. Yeah, I mean, I see the value of restricting loot boxes in these scenarios, but at the same time, I'm not sure exactly how successful that would really be.
I think you just got to take away the RNG side of it. So if I pay $5 for a loot box, if they say that said loot box is going to have items XYZ in it for $5, then it's no longer gambling.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Well, that's kind of where Wildlands is at the moment. There's a full list of everything you can get from a loot box.
You
can get, or you will get each time you do it.
No, you
There's
can.
A big difference.
However,
that's the big difference, though.
It won't repeat.
Oh, it won't repeat.
So there's ones that you can't buy currency for. You have to play the game to get the in-game currency. You can't buy more of it, right?
So their ones might have to
double check that. But the prestige crates, I know you can spend money to buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not the prestige crates, the battle crates, the Spec Ops crates. Those ones will drop 3 items out of the list, and they will never repeat an item. Okay, so essentially, what you can do is you can sit down and work out and go, well, there's X amount of items. Divide that by 3, and then times that by how much money it cost me to buy X amount of loot crates, right? So you can actually work out how much it will cost you to get everything.
Okay.
The prestige crates, you can only get them by doing things in the game to earn prestige points. So you can't buy them, and they're random chance. Like they have the ability to drop stuff you already get. But what it does is, if it does,
yeah, but you play the game.
You've got to play the game to do it.
You're not putting your hand in your pocket. That's the bit that I'm more than happy with that, because I did that for Rainbow Six.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you get a repeat item, it gives you back credit
towards the next one.
You can towards battle crates. So it gives you real world currency. What you can buy real world currency for. So you essentially are getting free in-game currency that you can spend money on. So I like the system. It's as grindy as any loot box system, but it seems and feels very fair. And coming from Ubisoft, that's a big step in the right direction. Done in the past around this sort of thing.
Oh, look, they're no EA games, but
yeah, look, no, they're not. But so
yeah, fair enough.
Anything else, Rim?
One more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have our resident Switch owner to give me his insight. Hopefully, editing Lucas will insert his thoughts here.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas here, and yes, I will chime in here. And what Rem is about to talk about after I make my comments is the new Nintendo Switch online service and a couple of issues that have come along with it. But I do have a Nintendo Switch, and I have signed up to the Nintendo Switch online service. And here's a couple of things about how it works. To start off, if you're new to the whole online thing on the Nintendo Switch, it gives you a 7-day free trial, which is really cool. However, you do have to do the usual sign up with a credit card or a PayPal account for the reoccurring payment. You would have to physically go in and cancel it before the 7-day trial ends if you don't actually want to pay anything. Now, it's $5.95 Australian per month if you want to keep it going, and this will be required as of now to play any of the online games online. Otherwise, you'll be restricted to single-player experiences, not too dissimilar to PlayStation and Xbox online services. Now, the really cool thing that comes with the online service is kind of like a perk, but for me, it's really the only reason why I'm interested in paying $5.95 a month. It's because you get a plethora of games to play, kind of like a Game Pass, but not as impressive as Xbox's Game Pass. But still, it does have a few games here. I've got them in front of me, and I'll run through a list of what's here. So we've got Balloon Fight, Baseball, Donkey Kong, Double Dragon, Dr. Mario, Excite Bike, Ghosts and Goblins, Soccer, River City Ransom, Pro Wrestling, Mario Brothers, Ice Hockey, Ice Climber, Gradius, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3, Tecmo Bowl, Tennis, The Legend of Zelda, Yoshi, and I think that's it. That's the end of the list there. Yeah, so there's a bunch of games there. There's some big names. Super Mario Brothers is there, and you can play them all to your heart's content. You can play it 2-player, you can play it single-player, you can play online 2-player games as well. So I think the $5.95 is worth it if you're keen on playing those games, because there's a few games there which will keep you busy. But if you're not big on playing it and you're not too fussed on the multiplayer stuff, it's probably not something that those kind of people would be interested in. But yeah, for me, it's there in the future. If you've got any questions about the Nintendo Switch, come to me. I've got one. I'll check it out. If I don't know anything about it, I'll look it up. And if I do, I will give you my opinions, thoughts, and whatever I know about it. That's it for me. Thank you very much. I'm editing Lucas. I'll send you back to Rem to tell you about the issues that came along with this latest update. See ya.
So, Nintendo launched their online functionality for the Switch over the past week, and that gives gamers access to like classic Nintendo titles. As part of that, there was also a CRT filter function, which made your screen look like it was you're playing a game on an old TV or CRT monitor. So you got like the distortions on the screen and things like that.
Well, the kids will love that.
Yeah, they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Where's my 720p?
The problem was that there were a lot of gamers reporting that the filter left them with an aft image on their screen, as though the screen was burnt in.
Yeah. That's
so
what
they
CRT
had
does. It's not on the screen, it's on the inside of your eyes, mate.
That's right. The problem was, of course, they've spent all this money on a brand new Switch, and now they're stressing that their screen's damaged. So a lot of people took to forums and were complaining to Nintendo and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So I wanted to put it out there that the one gamer tested the fault. He believed it was a rendering issue due to the actual colour of the ladder remaining. So it was sort of that greenish colour rather than being a burnt pixel.
Mm-hmm.
So he's tested out the theory, and if you boot up the filter...
Hold on. You dropped out there. What was that?
If you boot up the NES games without the filter active, so you're taking off your CRT filter, the scene's then re-rendered, and the ladder... So if there's anyone who's had a Switch, they're having this issue, try out the filter activated.
Turn it off and turn it on again.
That's it. Your Switch is fine. Please don't. You think that you've got a permanent issue. This is, Nintendo's been contacted, but there's no word yet. But hopefully they're working on a fix for it.
So you just turn the filter off and restart it, pretty much.
Pretty much. Turn it off and on again. See if it works. Make sure your filter's deactivated.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Nice. Well, if that's it, everyone, we can head off onto the next segment, which is What Would You Rather? Alright, so I've come up with one this week. So, being around the release of the news this week that the PS1 mini console is being released early December. This week's What Would You Rather? Would you prefer backwards compatibility on a current console, or a re-release of a original version of a console with the games on it?
So are we talking original version like this classic mini?
Yeah,
or are we talking original?
No. So like a version. So like the PS1 mini, the SNES mini, the Sega mini, the ones that they look and they kind of feel like the old ones, but they've got a bit of upgraded technology. So they've got HDMI, they pump out, and 9 times out of 10 they've actually got games pre-installed on them. Yeah, because now you can put an SD card that's 128 gig that costs you 30 cents, and you can have every game in existence from a PS1.
Do I still have to use a memory card?
Yes, you do. For science.
I mean, nostalgia plays a part there, obviously. But current console, pure, more functional. Backwards compatibility makes it just a bit too easy, I think. There's a part of me that goes, no, you have to play the original game on the original console, but it's not really original in that case.
No, it's
I
not
guess.
an original console.
Yeah, so like if I was picking up, a PlayStation 1 from 1997, I'd be stoked. I'd want to play all my original games on it, even though they look like shit, especially on my new TVs. But I think that's part of it, part of the feel, part of the enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
Whereas playing it on a hybrid, there's a sense of nostalgia, but it's not the same to me. It's convenient, I guess, because you've got it all there, all these preloaded games, but there's also, I wonder how much control you have then over future games on it. Like, are you limited with the games you can then play?
Yeah, I think you're pretty limited, yeah.
Yeah. So that then becomes basically an arcade console in my mind. And I'd prefer the backwards compatibility, I guess, with maybe some rendering to improve the game, so it's not quite as shitty as it once was. So it feels more like it felt back then to me, back then. Instead of me going so disappointed. It's like, oh no, this is terrible.
Well, Skrill would rather be 10 again and have all the free time in the world and less bills. Yeah,
yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
Can we stop adulting?
We'd all, I'd like to stop adulting, even if it was just for one day. I think I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Maybe one day a week.
Yeah.
How about you, Greg?
Look, I don't think I'm going to add too much here, except for the fact that here's where I'm at. One, if I have backwards compatibility, I can play the games I want to play. Two, I don't have to spend $100 on a mini version of a console that I probably already got.
$150.
Yeah, see? Then the next thing for them is to bring out a PS2. I got my PS2. And you know what? Because I got my PS2, I can still play all my PS1 games.
Yes.
Because it had backwards compatibility. So I don't need a PS Classic. I don't need to spend $100 on the world's tiniest PlayStation 1. And then be forced to play a bunch of games that I probably didn't want to play to begin with. Probably never played when I had the original PlayStation. And so, I want to play. So, I'm just going to say that.
The only thing that I have that's different in regards to what you two have said is that if I was going to play the old games, I like the idea of having the old controller in my hand.
Yeah.
Even though that PS1 controller is going to be responsible for a generation of people with arthritis.
Yeah.
I still like the idea.
You mean that one? All of them?
No, they've gotten better.
It's good for me. It was good for me. I was 8 years old.
Yeah, because you had tiny little hands.
And you still have tiny little hands.
Yeah. Like
little Deadpool arms.
I've picked up an original PlayStation controller as I am now, and it still feels like this tiny little toy.
Yeah, it is. It's tiny.
But that would kind of be the only thing that would go back that would be enjoyable about it. I don't really like going back and playing older games. So for me, the idea of the console and 150, you know what? If it was $100, I'd probably get it. I would, just for the fact that the original PlayStation was the thing that really got its teeth into me. That was, so that side of it's probably there, and that's probably the only thing that would drag me towards it. But for 150, I can live.
Take that $100. If you do some digging, I bet you can actually find an original PlayStation for that.
Yeah, but an original PlayStation, I've then got to plug it into my TV, which is 65-inch. I've got to use RCA cables to do it.
Yeah.
So I'd pay the $100 for the convenience of a HDMI and not having to worry about discs. I'd do that.
So long as they were games you want to play.
Yeah. I'd have to know what these 20 games are and if there is possibility of updating them.
Yeah, I mean, what were they confirming? I know there was Final Fantasy 7 and Tekken 3 and something else that came preloaded on it.
Yeah, I've only heard about Tekken and I was told a Final Fantasy. And trying to play Final Fantasy 7 in the way that it was originally made, that's like stroke-inducing now. As great a game as it is, that would be so frustrating that, you know, TVs are going to be broken all over the world. Just, it's...
Oh, here we go. I think I might have found the list of the games. Load.
Skrulls asked in the chat while you're looking at that, what's the worst controller ever?
The worst controller ever.
The original Xbox controller, I wouldn't say was the worst, but it was definitely the weirdest, because it was just this mammoth thing.
Well, it was, especially for its time, because it was the first one with the offset sticks.
Yeah.
So it was the first time you saw offset sticks,
Wait,
which has become a staple. The Duke.
Which one?
The Duke.
Right. Yep, sure.
Duke. Oh, yeah.
Duke, whatever. Look, to be fair, the N64 controller is a weird piece of shit.
Is that the one with the like little Wiimote thing in the middle?
Yeah, so it's got like it's like a trident, reverse trident.
Ah, yes.
It's stab into you, and you use the center one for doing. It was literally like a one-handed sort of trigger / movement, look around kind of thing. Yeah. I remember at the time it seemed intuitive, but like I remember the last time I played with one, it was like I was like, how did I play with this? This is just yuck.
Yeah, see, I fell out of love with Nintendo many years prior to that, so I don't think I've ever actually used one.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there were 5 games announced.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII.
Jumping Flash. R4 Ridge Racer Type 4. Tekken 3. And Wild Arms.
Okay. So far, it's a definite no.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking is more than paying $150 for a mini PlayStation 1 that's not really a PlayStation 1, let's face it, I just want someone to send me just a USB that looked like a PlayStation 1 that just plays the startup sound. Because that's the most nostalgic part for me. It's just the startup sound. It's like, it's so comforting.
I reckon we can get you an emulator so when you plug it into the PC, it'll actually play a game for you.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yep.
Just have like really bassy roars on the TV. It's great.
Can we stop calling it the PS1? Because it's not technically a PS1.
It's the original
it's PS Mini. PS Mini.
No, because there was the original PlayStation and then there was a PS1. Which this...
Yes, there was a PS1.
Yeah.
The Mini would actually be close to the same size as a PS1.
Yeah, so once again, go buy yourself a PS1.
Well, no, it's definitely.
And you don't need coax cables for that one because you can actually buy a screen that clipped onto that one.
Oh yes, true.
Well, the original original PlayStation 1 was reasonable size. It was a brick, but they brought out that big version of it. Like a year or two later.
The little white one.
Yeah.
Skrulls just put up a picture in the podcast live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one we played with in high school in our free periods.
The built-in screen.
That's where I played a lot of Street Fighter. I should have been studying, but I played a lot of Street Fighter.
Lots of Street Fighter, yeah.
We had a slightly different screen though, it was square. But yeah.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas here again, chiming in about the PlayStation Classic. Now, my opinion of it is the first time that I saw this announcement, I was really excited. And I looked into it, and that started to reduce. Although I think it's a really cool looking thing, I think the only reason why I would buy one now is for ornamental value. For the fact of having one, maybe displaying it somewhere or something like that. When I saw what games were actually announced, I was sort of questioning why those games. Like, there are a lot of other games that would be beneficial to have in there. And they're advertising that it's got 20 games or something like that, but they're only showing 5. What are they playing at here? Why are they not showing us all of the games? Why is it not listed somewhere what you're getting with it? Why would you pay $150 for something that has 20 games, but they're only willing to tell you 5 of them? Are they going to drip feed the information after people have all pre-ordered, and hopefully people then won't drop it and they'll just buy it anyway? I don't like the marketing strategy used here. It's a little bit too cloak and dagger, a bit secret squirrel for me. I don't like the games that are announced enough to warrant $150. And that whole ornamental value, well, I still have my original PlayStation. That I think is a better ornamental, or has better ornamental value than a mini version that is made in 2018. So I'm not going to be picking one up unless they announce something fantastic that they haven't, that they've kept under wraps until now. But anyway, that's my opinion on it. Back to the guys in the show. Thank you very much. See ya.
Awesome. So no. I think we can all agree, which you know what that means.
It only counts if Lucas agrees.
It only counts if Lucas agrees, that's right.
And agrees with me. So,
let's be very specific,
Lucas,
about this.
If you are feeling the PS Classic, bro, like me, right here, this is where you put it.
Team agree music should be the PS1 synth bass.
Oh yes, do that.
We'll get to see what he comes up with.
Well, that happened to me all the time. PS1 disc scratched, all that sort of garbage. Let's just stick with this one.
Well, anyone that's listening along, jump on over to our Discord channel and have a look at Project What Would You Rather and let us know your thoughts in there. Alright, well, now it's on to What's That Sound? Now, what's that sound from last week? I think just about everyone got it, didn't they?
Yep, yeah, totally.
And it was
It was Mark Hamill.
It was
that's right.
Was beeped out 1,000 times but missed once.
Missed once. Yep. So that's alright.
In case
the one he missed, I thought it was intentional because it was kind of like I was guessing.
It was kind of.
I was kind of just mentioning it.
Yeah. Which one was it? What was it?
Let's put it this way. If it's not, it's the same. It's the guy that voices the Joker in the game. It's the same dude.
Well, if you'd like to say it a few more times, so Luke's got to beep it out. Go for it.
Got to spread these out, so he has to do that.
Assholes.
It was one of the ones I said.
Yeah. Well, here's what's that sound from last week.
Guys, I just want to talk about shooting you with this gun, which I'm going to do when we're done talking.
There you go.
Yes.
There it is. So, Greg, what was it, mate?
It was the...
Yes. From Batman Arkham Asylum, I think?
It was from one of them.
One of them. I've got it written down here as Arkham Knight, but now that I'm trying to run my head over Arkham Knight, I don't think it was. So, yes. Alright, well, on to this week's one. This week's What's That Sound is from a game that I've been playing this week. I haven't told you about said game because I've used it in What's That Sound? Alright, you ready?
Ready.
What's happening? It's breathing. It's breathing. It's breathing. He knows she's getting closer. He can feel
come through okay?
I think I know that one. Yeah.
Any ideas? Skrill, any ideas from you?
This would be a game that we have both played.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah. I think I know this.
Skrill heard zombie sounds. You're listening to something different, mate. Fuck it, Mario coin.
I'm sure I haven't played this game. That'd be correct.
Probably not. No,
But
probably not. You might have heard
I have a funny feeling I know what it is anyway. So,
All right. Well, for those
is it the
listening
one
at
that
home,
I can never pronounce correctly?
yes, it is. There
Yes.
you go. Yep.
There's a Vicky for everyone.
There's a bickie for everyone. If you've been listening along for a little while, you know there's a few that have got rather unique way of saying things. But for those listening along at home, here I'll play it one more time.
What's happening? It's breathing. Dead. It's breathing. It's breathing. He knows she's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer.
Ugh, still gives me chills. Alright, Skrill's going to have one more guess. And for those listening along at home, if you've got any ideas, flick us a message over on Facebook or a private message on our Discord channel and let us know what your thoughts are.
Unlike last week, none of us have actually said what it is.
No.
Like we're all certain that we know, and
Yeah.
I think it's a safe bet that we all know.
Yes.
But unlike last week where we like him with it and inadvertently he missed one because we that much. This week we actually haven't said it between us, so
Yeah.
No,
It's-
it's very
I-
restrained.
It's because
I
we're
think we'll leave it
maturing.
that way because we owe him that from
Last
because
week.
it was kind of our fault that he missed one. It was kind of unfair.
Well, this time, Skrill heard breathing and mumbles. Kinda makes me think alien. No, but good thought, mate. And there was breathing and little whispers, but yeah, a bit tricky that one. So you'll hear about it next week. All right. Well, that's what's that sound. On to last words. Alright, well, last words, I've got who the said that? Some are old, some are new, but they've changed. I think the darkness changed them. Any ideas yet, guys? No? Nothing yet?
Nolan bot.
Nolan bot. Dinglebot. No. No, it's not. It's actually from the same game as What's That
These two.
Sound?
Yeah.
So it might be better if it was said rather quietly and raspy. Maybe. I'm not going to try and do that because I don't think I can be quiet at the moment.
I think that was just bad planning on your behalf, man. You can't have What That Sound and then who the said that and have it at the same answer.
It wasn't bad planning at all. It was short time frame.
It's contextual.
Yes. And it was because, you know what, I played it a bit more this week and I just can't get over the sensation that it makes me feel when playing it. The shit that it does to my head, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
So,
it's
well needing of a who the said that.
You know, next time you're in a bind and you can't think of one, you can just come up with something easy like, "It's a me, Mario. It's a me, Mario." Who the said that?
Well, you guys got any other last words?
It is 9 days till Forza Horizon 4.
the countdown is on.
Oh, the countdown started last episode, so I thought I'd just keep it
T
up.
minus 26 hours for me.
Fuck you.
Well, one other last word from me. A big, massive thank you to Skrill. So a couple of days ago, Skrill contacted me and he said, "Mate, I've got a little thing here that you might enjoy, being that I love the Division so much." So Skrill has posted me the Agent's Watch from the original Division Special Edition, which is awesome. Fantastic. Cool. And lights up orange, does its all stuff. It does fit on my wrist, which is cool. So I can go and dress up as an agent now.
Nice.
Which is awesome. Kind of. I probably will never do it because I don't like people looking at me. But it's it's awesome. So I can't say thanks enough. Yes, Kaza. Thanks for dropping in and saying good day too, mate. Well, that's it from me, guys. You got anything else? If not, we need a code word. We've got to do it right at the end of the show, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's all different. See, you know what? I do have some last words, and it is about the code word. So, I don't know what's going on with you guys. Well, we love you and all, but I tried last week to make it easy because you all had troubles with Yelp for Euclid and having problems spelling it and remembering it and whatnot. So I made it really easy. I said, look, Raiden. I mean, it has so many gaming references, that word, that I was actually going to create a list, but I just couldn't be bothered because it's too hard. But just to name a few, it's a Mortal Kombat character. There was even a game called Raiden, where you had an airplane, you fly around and shoot stuff.
Oh, anyway, there was too, yeah.
And there was a Raiden in Metal Gear. Like, come on, guys. Anyway, turns out people still forgetting it. People still having trouble spelling it. So I'm like, fuck yous. Then I get complained about that I do it too early or too late or I take too long. And I went, you know what? This is my code word, not your code word. I make it up as I go along. And if you don't like it, screw yous. So, then I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just, instead of saying peace at the end, I'm just going to shout it at you. If you miss it, you miss it. If you get it, you get it. And then Lucas pointed out to me, then all the posers can just listen to like the last 5 seconds, pump it out, and then it looks like they've listened. Which is now why we do it in the middle of all this bollocks. So, as much as I like you all, you've been a pain in the ass this week.
And thank you very much, because I'm enjoying this laugh.
This is good.
I mean, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time since I've decided, you know what, I'm going to have a good old-fashioned rant. I mean, Pete's sake. Anyway, so you want a goddamn friggin' code word, huh? Alright, let's... You know what?
Code word for this week is rant.
Yeah, look, you know what? For those that don't know how to spell it, it's R-A-T. Rant. Okay? It's rant. Just in case you've forgotten, it's rant. Okay.
Trampoline. No, it's trampoline.
On that note, I've had my last word.
I don't think I can top that.
Well, that's it from us, everyone. Thank you very much to everyone that's listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. Super big thanks to Skrill and Kaza for jumping in and joining us. Kaza coming right in at the end there just to get the code word. Thank you to you guys, Rev and Greg, for everything that we're doing. To everyone listening, make sure if you want to continue any of the discussions over on our Discord channel, over on our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, All the links are in the show notes below. That's it from me.
Rightio, I'm having a little bit of a Shannon Knoll moment over here. What about me?
I'm Snooker.
Yeah, you're Snooker, all right.
Yeah, Snooker. Yeah. I have been Snoogs.
I've been Remutha.
I've been Grejio.
Pissed off Grejio.
See you all next week.
Rant!
Well, here we are once again at the end of this week's show. If you're still hungry for more video game content, then head over to the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page and give us a like. We also have a heavy presence over on Twitter and YouTube, and their links are waiting for you in the podcast description. This podcast is available for your convenience through Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and more. Thanks again for listening. Catch you all on the next episode of the Aussie Gamers Express Video Game Podcast.